Happy what is left of Thursday, March 23rd. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Overnighter. Whew, had a specific topic planned for tonight based on Zack Snyder's tweet real quick, but um, I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the chat and get this member chat out of the way so that I can go ahead and get get to where you guys got two member chats. All right. That to Vince, member for 20 months at work, but here's a like. Have a great stream. Thank you, Vince. Jared Jar Jar's Fascia. Sadie Josh is going to be streaming much anymore, and I'm going to get right to that before I get on to the other topics and bring Theta in. Okay, so earlier this evening, everybody who is a fan of the Poindexter Lounge, you saw on the community chat at Enosh will be we'll be stepping away from the Poindexter Lounge. I'll go ahead and bring up the tweet, or actually this is from the community page. So everything I'm reading, he's already put out. So there's really no, things, and nothing I'm putting out that's not already public knowledge. All right, so for those of you who haven't read it, I'll go ahead and read it for you. Hey, everyone. Many of you have been a part of our nerd family for quite a while. We've laughed, we've argued so much more on this channel. But this channel was started for my family, and I realize now that at some point I lost track of what that was about. The channel became more of a priority to me. Many times my own pride got in the way of friendships and ultimately family. I believe it is time for me to now step aside for a while, if not permanently, and focus on what's truly important in my life. I appreciate you all, and we will still have Sunday mornings for our church. I don't know what the rest of the channel may look like going forward, but everything will remain here for posterity at least. Thank you all for your love and support. Don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, and don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter, but seek to have great conversations and treat everybody with respect. And if you do that, there'll always be a place for you in the Poindexter Lounge. And that is directly from Enosh. So I got this news later on this afternoon, just the same time you guys did. So, what does that mean for what we do in the Poindexter Lounge in this channel? Well, the first thing I will address is that I have been given permission by Enosh to continue streaming on this network, even if he is not going to be. I don't know how long he is going to be stepping away. As you saw and you see in the post, it could be permanently. But it does appear that it's going to be some considerable length, if not indefinite. And my plans are to continue. My plans are to continue to build up the Sci-Fi Center proper, as we were going to continue to do, but also to fill the void as much as possible, because I realize how important that this platform has become to people. It was important to me. He gave me a platform to basically launch my YouTube career, so such that it is. So I understand that that is a significant void that would be left. I'm not Enosh. We are different. We have a different flow. We have a different cadence. We have different psychologies behind how we present our product. Uh, so I'm not going to copy Enosh. Enosh was Enosh and William is William. What I will try to do is carry on the same type of conversations that we were having on Poindexter Lounge, and there will still be a Poindexter Lounge as far as streamings and everything else. I'm going to rearrange the schedule, and if you look at the last 12 live streams, 9 of them have been the Sci-Fi Center lives. So that rhythm will stay the same. We will be doing there will more than likely on a nightly basis it'd be at least 1 hour show, whether it be a Midnight Express or a semi overnighter. But our main nights where the majority of the content and plans, content and topical content will be Friday. There will be at least 2 shows on Friday. One of them will be Star Trek centric. The other one will be probably another main overnighter on a Friday show, and then our Saturday overnight show, which we've been doing, consistently for about 6-7 months now, and then there will be a Sunday overnighter. So the bulk of the long form shows will happen Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I'll try to keep that Tuesday through Thursday schedule of at least an hour, depending on what the news is. We may go Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday, and take at least 2 days off so I can get some sleep every now and then. But that schedule should provide us with enough content. I'm going to go ahead and change up my format a little bit because I know that the viewers on this channel are conditioned and prefer, in a lot of cases, to have panels. I'm not a panel guy. We can do them. I think me solo for the most part on these shorter streams are is more suitable to me. But at the same time, we will make the adjustment. We will have panels. It'll be done differently, but it'll still be done. You'll still have a place to have the same type of conversations that we've been having this entire time. So like I said, I don't plan on slowing down. I don't plan on lessening content. I'm actually, if you notice, it's increased. So hopefully, okay, nobody's told me I'm muted yet. Cool. So I tested everything on, so we're good. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do as far as going forward goes. I mean, like I said, as long as Enosh is going to allow me to stream on this network, we're going to continue in the best way that we can in our own very own way. Both on the Sci-Fi Centers channel and on this one. Like I said, this channel, I will always be grateful for him for providing me with a platform to even get anything going. So I want to keep that going. I think the world needs what we have collectively provided for the past couple of years. So I'm going to continue. You're going to see some changes, and all I ask is that the current audience that we are sort of inheriting for now, to give me a little bit room to grow and to move in the direction and make the adjustments to make this as much of a comfortable place that you've grown used to. So on that, I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the chat real quick. Demon Baby Chicken. I can't love that name. How are you doing? I guess there's a conversation going on between the chicken and Larry. Chicken Chuck Cookie Larry. Oh, Lord, what is going on? Yes, I got the 2 member chats. Thank you, Jar Jar. How you doing, Captain Biggins? Thoughts on Zack Snyder's post today? Yeah, let's go ahead and get to that real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in Thade. How you doing, Thade? Can you hear me?
I was muted. Sorry about that.
Okay, I was like, thank God it wasn't me. All right, I'm
hey everybody, how you doing?
What's going on? Let me go ahead and bring up this stop screen, and we're going to bring up Zach's tweet here. Present. Share screen. Zach's Twitter. All right, so let's bring up. So earlier today, Zach posted the poster for the SnyderCon event that's going to be happening on the 28th. Depending on how much tickets are when they are put on sale tomorrow, I'm going to try to make it for at least Sunday. I cannot make it for the 2 previous days because I have prior commitments here in Vegas with the center, including one major event that takes place on Saturday. But I am going to try to at least, if they have separate seats, separate tickets, I'm going to try to get down there to see Zack Snyder's Justice League and be a part and and meet some of the people down there that I have yet to meet.
It sounded like it was going to be, each day was going to be a different ticket. So
yeah, and so that's going to be my best shot at going. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying, trilogy. Listen, whenever I hear that this whole trilogy thing, I think it's a joke. A trilogy is what we settled for because mismanagement cost us everything else. So that's fine. I also see people reading into this say, hey, look, Zach says it's a trilogy. That means it's over. Now, read into everything, whatever you want to read into. Here's my issue with these people over and over again. It seems like there is. I'm going to mute your background real quick while I go, and I'll bring it back in. Whenever something like this comes out, I get the people who come out of the bushes and want to add their 2 cents, as if anybody gives a fuck. See, Snyder Bros, it's over. Zach said it's over. Did you guys really think they were going to sell this to Netflix? And on and on and on. I'm like, I can't even enjoy the man's posts sometimes without these guys. I always say they often come after Snyder fans, and some of them, like I've always said, are inappropriate and do some really stupid stuff. But the obsession to me that I always find comical is the fact that these other guys take time out of their day to try to point out stuff that just doesn't matter. You know, making streams about the Snyderverse is officially over. Why did you do that? If you're not on board with it ever happening in any form, you took time out of your day to post something like that. So aside from that, like I said, I don't think we're ever going to be rid of these guys. I don't think we're ever going to be rid of these guys. They'll be coming after Snyder fans even when James Gunn stuff comes and goes. And if for some reason James Gunn's movies don't do well, it'll be our fault. You know, so I guess they need content to create. All right, so I thought the statue was cool. It's a restored statue, the restored Superman statue. It looks like he, you know, has enough allies within the current state of Warner Brothers to have helped him get permission to get this set up. So I think it's a good thing. I mean, like I said, the whole trilogy thing's a joke, and like I said, with anything that comes out, and when anything happens, yeah, sure. 11/59, 3/23, 2023. Sure looks like nothing's going to come of anything, but you know, who knows? Who knows? We don't know what the Flash is going to do as far as the endearment of these characters. We don't know. All right. What I do know is the internet community that seems to revel in us not getting any more of this is, you know, what are they going to do? What, you know, they seem to be more attached to it than we are. And I'm not talking about the extremists who, you know, the severed heads and all that, and drawings of James Gunn and all that. I'm just talking about the people who come after us in general for wanting a continuation of something that was started. And as soon as I saw the trilogy thing, I saw several people like, oh my goodness, it's over. See, Zach said it's over. It's only a trilogy. It's not a trilogy. We settled for a trilogy because somebody fucked up. All right. It wasn't supposed to be. No one who is literate and can read or write or stand up on two legs thinks that was a trilogy. That was planned to be a trilogy. It's what we got, but that's another ghost that is going to haunt DC well into the Gunn regime. Is that we're the only thing consistent when it comes to DC and their fans is we've had to settle. And I said this, you know, a couple of months ago. We got the Batman because we were supposed to get a Ben Affleck's solo movie. All right. We got the Suicide Squad, but we never got another Justice League movie. We get Birds of Prey, but it takes us almost 5 years to get an Aquaman movie. You know, we got Blue Beetle, you know, while we're still waiting, you know, while it took what 5-6 years to get the Flash off the ground, all of our A-list characters are been put in the back seat while we got these other things that we're settling for. So we got this new universe with a new Superman. We're settling for that because we didn't get more movies of the one we were shown. You know, we're settling for, you know, a trilogy, which was complete bullshit. You guys know damn well that was not a plan to be a trilogy. We're settling for the terminology of a trilogy because we didn't get the continuations and the resolutions. And once you condition your audience to the point where they're settling They know that there's an A product out there. They know that what they were supposed to get is out there, but they never got it, and they're settling for this or selling for that. Eventually, they just start, to go to other things, and that's what happens with Black Adam. That's what happens with Shazam. We wanted Superman. We get Shazam. All right. So it's like, and then you wonder why people don't show up to these movies and why they struggle. And then we'll blame everything. We'll blame COVID. We'll blame the weather. We'll blame, we'll blame the Snyder fans. We'll blame everybody in the world. But the fact that you have the output that DC Films has put out the last 5 years has included like 2% A-listers. That's a problem. You know what? Customer doesn't have to settle for that. So I'm happy that I love this poster. I like all the stuff that's coming out about this event. The one kick-ass thing about this event is that, to me, it goes back to the core thing that gathered us around. We all gathered around a movie that we knew was out there. We all searched the internet. We all searched each other out. We all found each other. And there was a certain camaraderie that's been missing for quite a while now. And things like this bring it back. Being able to, if possible, to be able to go ahead and meet people and commune with people that, were brought together by this, specific quest. And when you are able to bring things back to that basic foundation, you can dismiss the anti-Snyder crew. You can dismiss the extremists. You can dismiss scoopers. You can dismiss trades. You can get into a room, get into a community, and focus on each other. And when you're able to do things like this, you realize just how much those other people don't matter. The anti-Snyder people just don't matter. They never did at the beginning of this. All right. The trades doing what they do don't matter. They never meant anything this entire time. The extremists, they're not us. Most of the crew that follows this channel and anywhere I go, we're not extremists. We don't make threats to anybody. We saw these movies. We went. Most of the people I know that were Snyder fans saw Shazam. They went to Black Adam. They went to the first Shazam. But your general audience has been given the cadence and the rhythm of settling. It's almost like if you're a general audience fan watching these movies, and you just expect to be promised A and given B. So you got HBO Max, and that's where, trust me, the majority of people saw Black Adam, and the majority of people will see Shazam: Fury of the Gods. So you made it hard for them to make that investment. So I think it's a beautiful poster. I think it's a beautiful event. I am on the process of getting together. Like you guys know, I was going to try to do it this weekend, but a whole bunch of other stuff has happened and made it a little bit harder for me to get it done. But we are going to get done our charity. Most likely it's going to be next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So over a 3-year period, or 3-day period, I'm sorry, we're going to try to raise $2,000 for 2 different types of charities. And I think like I said, I think that's getting back to that kind of camaraderie is what we need to do. And like I said, I am going forward with the way we'll be doing things on, as long as I'm on this network and our own network. Less and less you're going to hear me talk about certain things unless they are news. Unless James Gunn presents news himself, it's probably going to be a non-topic, because otherwise it's just gossip and BS. We don't do anything, with, some of the guys who are, like I said, the extremists that go too far. That's never been my deal. Trades, I take those for what they are. I don't bring too many art. If you notice on our show, you don't see me bringing too many trades up, because, I can give you engineered bullshit facts for free. And why do I need to go to Variety or The Wrap? What was the purpose of The Wrap releasing that article about Dwayne Johnson? As if any of it were true would have changed the fate of Shazam. So we're going to start focusing. We're going to tighten our focus and start having cool, kick-ass conversations that really broaden our day. So that's my thoughts on it. I will try to be there for this event and get as much stuff and purchase as much stuff as I can, and hopefully I'll stream from there. So that's my thoughts on that. All right, how you doing, Matt Danino, Jacob McKenzie? What's going on? Hey, William. Hello, folks in the chat. Hello, Aaron. Nice to see you again. William, thought on Robert Pattinson and Robert Downey Jr. will star in Adam McKay's first average height, average build. 2 Academy Awards level actors making a movie. So I don't know the premise of it. I'm sorry, Thad, I forgot to bring it back in.
I was just gonna say I can take care of the chat for you. Just bring up stuff.
Okay, cool.
That's basically why I'm here. And of course, if you have any questions for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know the premise of the movie, so if it's human interest, I'm probably gonna bow out. But depending on what it is, I might go see it. I like those 2 actors.
He has the answer to what the movie's about right here.
Okay, serial killer. There we go. The film follows a serial killer who gets into politics to change the laws to be more murder friendly. That actually sounds hilarious. I might go see that. All right, how you doing, Spider-Man? Hal Jordan, what's going on? Yeah, he's not leaving the planet, guys. He's still alive and well. He's just handling, like I said, I don't have any details, but he's taking care of his family. And like I said, we're going to do our best to carry on and still provide a place for us to have some fun. So, yeah, I hope so too. I mean, like I said, obviously it's his network. Yeah, he's more than welcome to be here. Yes, we do. It will be airing on Friday at 8 p.m. And we will be discussing episode 6 of Picard. And I will also be giving away some Blu-ray steelbooks for Strange New World Season 1. So tune into that show.
Dude, all I have to say about that now, I'll completely go into it tomorrow night. The Easter eggs. Oh my lord.
Yeah. There's a whole stream that we could do on those and the ending of it. For those of you who haven't watched it, I won't spoil it until tomorrow. What they were looking for is kind of just creepy and kind of opens up a whole bunch of questions. So,
okay, William, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. He isn't the only one there. There were 2 others. In crypts there.
Yeah. Kind of gross. All right, let me go ahead and get this screen off of here real quick so we remove that, because this is going to be a super short stream. I mainly was going to come on and talk about some stuff and get us primed and ready for tomorrow, but this weekend's going to be a lot of streaming. I'm actually going to be streaming a little bit from a wrestling ring on Saturday night, so that'll be fun. William Thon and Zachary Levi says the Shazam crew tried desperately to get Henry Cavill to appear in Superman in the first Shazam movie. Yeah, we knew that already, and the problem is you had the previous regimes that were clowns, and that he didn't allow it or couldn't get a contract together. So Zachary said Walter Amada and David Sandberg tried everything they could to bring Henry on, and that they never wanted to pivot to a head of the cabinet. I find it hard to believe that Hamada did, because Hamada fought it on every other level. I have no reason to believe that Hamada was an advocate for Cavill. That's just my opinion. And I know there were contractual issues that would have counted as one of his appearances. Okay, so then you're the head of DC, Studios at the time. First priority should have been getting Cavill to a 2 to 3 year contract. So not only could you have done that, you could have actually properly put him in Black Adam instead of a cameo that ended up meaning nothing and doing nothing. So that's my opinion. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Like I said, I got everything kind of got hit with me today, and my original plan was to basically start moving more and more of my specific content to just the Sci-Fi Center, and that's still sort of the plan. But like I said, I do not want this spot left dormant. I want action on Poindexter Lounge happening as frequently, if not even more frequently than we were before. It'll just be different. So we'll have a wrestling show, and it'll more than likely be on both networks. But yeah, we'll definitely have a wrestling show. William, thought on a remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo is in the works. Stephen Knight is writing the script. Robert Downey Jr. is starting the role. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not a big fan of remakes, but I think Vertigo is a kind of movie that you could make a significant difference. 50 years later, I think you can make a completely different movie from a different point of view, and I think it could be quite enjoyable. William, thought on Linda Blair to reply to the role as Regan McNeil and David Gordon Green's Exorcist reboot?
It's not really a reboot. It's requels. She's actually going to be the adult Regan.
Okay.
And this is going to be another child that's going through what she went through when she was younger.
As long as that's the premise, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be great.
My only problem is
Exorcist. By the way, people get scared the hell out of Exorcist. Exorcist never scared me. I don't know why. I find it an entertaining movie, but people are like, this is a scary movie. I never scared. Anytime, I don't know. Pardon.
There were parts of it that were disturbing. There were parts of it that were disturbing to me, but they was never really scary to me.
Yeah, it was good. Exorcist 3 is actually my favorite of the three. So
that's the best out of the trilogy, in my opinion.
Yeah, that one gave me a scare.
My only questionability about this requel trilogy, because it's going to be a trilogy, is that David Gordon Green, who's the guy who did the most recent Halloween trilogy, is doing it, and that's my only real shaky ground.
That's a big.
Even though I personally liked the new Halloween movies, most of them, I know how people feel about what he did with those movies, so that's kind of shaky ground for me.
Those last two movies were dreadful, but all right, that
last movie would have been good had it not been a Michael Myers movie. Had they set it up as Corey from the start, it would have been a great movie. All right, William, thoughts on Disney Plus Indiana Jones TV show? It's rumored to not be going forward. Disney reportedly told Lucasfilm that they have to stay focused solely on Star Wars content going forward. That's only a rumor. That's not entirely true because they're looking at, what's his name? The guy that plays Star-Lord in Guardians.
Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt. They're looking at Chris Pratt to play a younger version of Indiana Jones. So this right here is a rumor, Jacob. We don't have exact content going on with that, and besides that, there's a shakeup going on over there right now. So I wouldn't trust any news coming out just at this moment.
Yeah, if this is true, that makes more sense. Star Wars is their cash cow when it comes to Lucasfilm, so it could make sense.
Prime.
How you doing, Prime? What's going on there?
Do we know this yet? What time do tickets go on for SnyderCon? It's tomorrow, I know. I just don't know what time.
8 a.m. Pacific time.
Okay. William, thoughts? John Wick Chapter 4 earned $8 million in Thursday night previews, the highest number in the franchise.
I'm expecting John Wick 4 to outdo the previous three. Like I said, they have built up a reputation of making these movies really good, really fun, and they make them for cheap. So it's a win-win for everybody.
It's on pace for $65 million to $70 million opening weekend, which would be Keanu Reeves' second best domestic opening of all time behind The Matrix Reloaded. I think it's going to do really well. From what I'm hearing, people are liking it that have seen it tonight. So
haven't heard a bad, and I sent a bunch of people to it last week, and they all loved it. So I haven't heard a bad review about it.
What do you guys thought of what James Gunn said about that he wants to work with? James Gunn said about wanting to work with Margot Robbie again if she is. Is she going to play Harley Quinn? Who do you think she plays in his new DCU?
Harley Quinn.
If he works with her.
Harley Quinn. Like I said, this just further underscores that there's not going to be a complete reboot. So if you guys thought there was going to be a complete reboot, at no point did he ever tell you there was going to be. He said there might be some characters that are reset, but I doubt he's going to. They're going to. Beyond on a financial and a business level, it would be a better investment for them to try to rebuild her viability, because she's still a marketable character. Unfortunately, the last two movies she's been in have not been successful, and a lot of it is because of the way they were packaged and the way they were done. So I mean, I still think there's money to be made off of Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. So I don't have a problem with that going forward.
Could Highlander still work in this movie climate? Well, we're getting a reboot, so it's going to have to.
I don't think so. I could be 100% wrong about this, depending on who they get. Like, say if they got Cavill, then maybe you got a good chance. But say Cavill's not involved. Just say, the same apprehension I have about a Highlander remake are the same ones I have about a Crow remake. Those movies were a product of their time and they benefit from the atmosphere that they were released in. Highlander benefited almost 100% from the soundtrack and the music of the 80s. There is no Queen to do a new soundtrack for them. There's nobody on the level of Queen to do a Highlander soundtrack that would be universally loved. And the soundtrack drove that movie, much in the way the soundtrack drove The Crow and the atmosphere of the 80s. 1986 was a special year for these type of movies. And even it bombed then. Highlanders only became a success and on a cult status. But as a box office release, it wasn't anything to write home about. It took decades for Highlander to get its footing as far as the respect that it deserves. So I don't know how well this one will do given those factors. So, well, once again, I wish them luck.
As far as I know, Cavill is still connected to this reboot, so it may do good just based on Cavill alone.
And guys, remember what I always say. Most reboots fail. All right? Most reboots fail. And it's not an accident that why they fail and that they fail. So whenever you attach the word reboot to something, it's like attaching a 2-ton boulder to someone's back as they're trying to reach the peak of a hill. All right, next one.
This wrestling question for you.
All right, William, what you thought of Omega versus Hijo? Hijo del Vikingo? That match was great. Yeah, that might. It's the best TV match, the best non-pay-per-view match I've seen all year. It's hilarious because people like to sweat Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, the other match that I would compare it to, the best match of the year period so far was Omega versus Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom. But this match that I saw last night, this match right here is the best television match I've seen all year. I can't quite put it on the level of Omega Ospreay, but the fact that Kenny Omega is in both of the best matches I've seen this year tells you something about him. So I loved it. Next one.
Was the statue scene in Exorcist 3 the scare for you, William?
No. When that crazy ass person with that saw thing that opens up the chest.
Yeah.
When the one nun or the one nurse is walking down the hall and it's just dead silence for the whole movie, for the most of the movie, and you see the woman going down the hall, and then all of a sudden you see this crazy person with that thing chasing after him, and they have that screaming sound. That scared the shit out of me when I saw that in the movies, man.
Yeah, that was messed up, man.
Yeah, that whole movie was, I love that.
Probably one of Brad Dourif's best performances besides Chucky.
Yeah, that movie was just shot beautifully too, by the way. All right, next one.
What's the website the SnyderCon tickets go on sale for?
He said there's going to be a link that they're going to make available tomorrow at 8 o'clock, so I'm just going to go to the Twitter to get mine.
What are you guys' thoughts on Bob Barger saying that he's going to probably license out some of the major properties to other platforms for shows or movies? This is according to Deadline and THR. I don't put much stock in what THR or Deadline say at this point.
Bring that back up, though. And I agree with you. I don't put much stock in either of those. But here's the thing. That math thing again. And people who say that James Gunn and Warner Brothers and David Zaslav wouldn't do the same thing for DC, you're kidding yourself. If they can find a way to move these IPs forward and lessen their liability and still make the money, they're going to do it.
Oh,
that's why
Zaslav's already doing it. The new Batman animated series that they were talking about doing, it's already going to Amazon. It's already a done deal.
And by the way, this competing with themselves shit, That's some fanboy garbage that people are like, oh, they're not going to sell this to them. They're going to be competing with themselves. No, when you're making all the money, when you're making a profit, you are not competing with yourself. All right, that is some fanboy logic that does not apply to the real world. Trust and believe that you will see major IPs on Netflix if the money is right, and that's the same here with it. I believe this. I believe that Bob Barker would do that because it makes sense. Not everything can go on their platforms, and some things you want made, but you don't want to foot the production bill. So yeah, it makes all the sense in the world. So yeah, I believe this. But even not just because it comes from those trades, because I feel about those, but it just makes mathematical sense for all parties involved, all studios currently in existence to do this to make money.
Well, and also like for example, like I said, Zaslav sending that Batman animated show to Amazon. That's not hurting anybody, and that's also not hurting Warner Brothers' bottom line. Okay, they can license this stuff out. It's not like the old days where now they have to try to get everything back. They can get license things out and easily hold on to the other side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also when you license things out, you limited license. You set the parameters. They have to play by your rules. So go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
there. Question: have you guys heard about this blasphemy of a Heat remake? I just heard about it today on Max's channel. God, I hope not. Heat was a good movie.
When you're talking about Heat, we're talking about the one of my all-time favorite movies, the Michael Mann version with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer. We're talking about that Heat. If they need to not do that. And now, are we talking about a remake or are we talking about a sequel? I heard of a sequel. And here's the thing. If it's a sequel and Michael Mann is behind in the director's chair, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because Michael Mann, I think, could that's his story, that's his vibe. If it's a remake, then no, don't touch it.
Okay, no, it's not a remake. It is a sequel.
Okay, yeah, if it's a sequel, let's do it. This is too long in the coming. I wish we could have done this a lot sooner.
Oh, he's also talking about maybe also making a prequel to that movie as well.
Prequel I'm not as on board with. I'm a forward-thinking guy. I'll watch it, though, because like I said, Michael Mann doesn't make enough stuff. And he's getting up there, so I need him to make as much stuff as he possibly can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, certainly. Oh, that's interesting. I might actually be into that if they're making a sequel, because Heat was a good movie. Anthony Manzano says Queen is still around, but Adam Lambert is their lead singer.
All right, with all due respect to Adam Lambert, he's an excellent, awesome talent. One of the best singers in the world.
Not Freddie
Mercury. For the fact he is not Freddie Mercury. And here's the thing. It doesn't even mean obviously Freddie Mercury is an all-time historically great singer, one of my favorite vocalists of all time. All right. Adam Lambert is great. But here's the thing about when it comes to Queen, and I've listened to a lot of Adam Lambert Queen, he does his best. He does his best. But Brian May wrote those songs, and they wrote those songs for Freddie Mercury's voice, for Freddie Mercury's range, for Freddie Mercury's vocal tendencies. I mean, they knew each other so well that the guitar and the bass, everything that was Queen, that wasn't the vocals, it was like it was a twin brother that knew everything about his vocals, and his vocals knew exactly what to play to as far as that. They were in harmony. And that's not Adam Lambert's fault. He's put into a position where he's filling legendary shoes. And he's great. He does great. If it weren't for the fact that Freddie Mercury is Freddie Mercury, that's a tough one. I don't think if they were to do the Highlander soundtrack and they put Adam Lambert as Queen, people would crucify Adam Lambert. And for no reason. They hired him. The remaining members of Queen said, this is our guy from this point forward. They believe in him, and he's done a great job. But he's not Freddie Mercury, and I think that putting him in that position to do that soundtrack would be detrimental to him. I mean, who knows? I think so, but I hope that if they do decide to do that, people don't bash him. Don't bash Adam Lambert just because he isn't Freddie Mercury, though. That's not. I mean,
I actually really like Adam Lambert. I think he does really good with Queen, in my opinion. So I don't know. Maybe it's all up in the air right now still because they haven't even started filming on the Highlander thing yet. So
yeah, and that's going to be a tough movie to get going. But all right, next one.
Manzano says, I rewatched the original Carrie movie when I graduated high school. I'm like, this movie's so stupid it wasn't scary. I'm like, why was this scary when I was little? Okay, if you watch the Chloe Grace Moretz version, which is like the third remake of this movie, it's actually not bad. Not scary, but it's a little bit better than the Sissy Spacek version. Um, as for Carrie, it was never meant to scare you. It was more of a scientific kind of science fiction thing.
It was meant to enrage you and put you in the spot of every person who's ever been picked on. When Carrie fucks those people up, she's doing that for all of us nerds that out there that got picked on. At least before I grew to 6 foot, and that stopped. But all the people who've been picked on for being weird or being different, Carrie was killing those people for you. And it was not much of a horror movie as much as it was a relatable movie. In many ways, you're rooting for Carrie because everybody's, all of us nerds have been put in that position before, and you just wanted to stick it to those people.
It was also made to make you a little bit paranoid of the government because this story was connected with Firestarter. It was all about government messing with us, causing changes in us. It was experimentation, stuff like that. So it was to make you paranoid of the government and to, like William said, kind of upset you, to kind of enrage you.
Yeah.
You saw wish fulfillment in Carrie, fucking those guys up, basically.
All right, next one.
All right. Are there certain cop movies from the 70s and 80s that couldn't work as a reboot for this generation of movie fans? Don't reboot Lethal Weapon, ever. Because that just will not work without... I mean, they already tried that with a television show. It didn't work.
It actually lasted a lot. How long did that show last? That show lasted longer than it had any business lasting. Yeah, that's
3 seasons.
I thought it was going to get canceled in the first episode, but
and they killed off one of the major characters. They killed off...
spoiler alert if you're going to watch this.
No, they killed off Martin Riggs.
They just screwed it up for you. There you go, everybody. I know you weren't going to go watch that anyway.
Spoiler alert for a 5-year-old show. Okay.
Couldn't work as a reboot. Beverly Hills Cop couldn't work. I think it's just about Here's the thing, though. It wasn't the movies that wouldn't work. It's the culture we live in that makes it so that some of these movies, we have a culture that makes it really easy. Back in the 80s, when we didn't have cameras everywhere, cops were still considered in a broad scape of America as a heroic figure. They are, in my opinion. But the perception of police, given what's been happening in the time in between, coming from 1992 with the Rodney King situation all the way up to George Floyd situation like that, people view cops differently. So you wouldn't be able to. You can still do cop shows and cop movies, but you couldn't do them. You may as well not even try to do anything in the 80s. Applying what worked in the 80s now would probably get your show canceled. All right, next.
This is more a statement than anything else. By the way, with WB giving their blessing for SnyderCon, it seems they're actually recognizing the term Snyderverse for really the first time. They probably acknowledged it the whole time, to be honest.
Well, you guys should also remember this is a new crew. And regardless of some of the mistakes I think Zaslav and Gunn have made, stumbling, not big mistakes, James Gunn and Zack Snyder are friends. They've worked together. They have a mutual respect for each other. So the previous regime is gone. We wouldn't have expected this from the previous regime. The current regime just wants to do their own thing. I don't think they're adverse to Zack Snyder at all. I just think his stuff doesn't fit with their plans. And because they overlap, because of the way Zaslav set that up, people think that they're at odds. They're not. So I'm good. I was happy to see that as well. You know what? Maybe time will heal some of this stuff. Time, money, and the Flash making $1 billion could help. So never say never again.
To Live and Die in L.A. is a great cop movie. I think it's 90s.
1985.
1985.
To Live and Die in L.A. That was the movie he did before he got the role for Manhunter. To Live and Die in L.A. is fucking excellent. I think that's isn't that Michael Mann too?
I think so,
to Live and Die in L.A. William Dafoe. I think to this day, that's one of William Dafoe's best roles, man. 1985, the neo-noir. That's the first time I've ever heard that one. And he made a movie about the Secret Service, which was great. So no, it's directed by William Friedkin. So well, it felt like a Michael Mann movie, but yeah, it had William Peterson in it, William Dafoe, John Turturro. It was a great movie. What was the soundtrack of this one? Man, it was made for $6 million, and it was considered a success because it made 17.3.
Yep.
Oh, what a
Uh,
great movie!
I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of Big Trouble in Little Chinatown and Serpico. These are the movies I was asking that question for. I was asking about reboots. Serpico's had I believe it had did, wait a minute, didn't it have a sequel?
I can't remember. Serpico would work today. Serpico would work because it's about corruption. Corruption stories are gonna do well no matter what, Erica. So yeah, Serpico would do well. Let's see. There is. Let's see. Is there a sequel for this one? Background, production, release, wide release, later reviews, legacy, accolades. No sequel yet for that one. But
Yeah.
yeah, Serpico could work. Big China, Trouble in Little China, maybe be a much different movie than that one. But but Serpico definitely. Next one.
With this trilogy thing, I think people are zeroing in on that because they're wondering if it's Zach's way of saying the book is being closed. Thoughts?
No, no.
No,
To me, it's Zach's way of expressing the situation that it is today on March 24th, 2023. That's all it is. He's making this presentation because he's doing a fundraiser, and these are the three movies that he has. You know it. We don't know. What could happen next. We don't know if, say, for instance, like I said, they decide to do an animated series. We don't know. We don't know, and that could be okay. So if another movie comes, it's a trilogy until it's not a trilogy anymore. Whether it be 10, 15, 20 years, who knows? But I do think that they'll find some way to complete the story, whether it be a
I
comic book or a cartoon.
I think they could really easily finish it as a comic book. That would be really interesting.
Dude, that would change. That would help DC. DC,
Oh
if
God,
you're
yeah.
watching, you know where your sales are right now, DC Comics. You know where your sales are at. Marvel's not doing much better, but you know where your sales are at right now. You're talking about connecting, different platforms. You got these movies out here that are already there. If you could sell this comic and make that connection and not hurt your Prime universe, why not? Making a comic is dirt cheap. Make it a 12 issue miniseries, a maxi series. Like I was saying the other night. Do variant covers, do limited variant covers, do reprints. Make them worth something. Make it fun. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do it. All right, next one.
A lot of Stephen King stories are coming from that perspective. Christine was coming from a guy that got picked on. Well, okay, so with Stephen King, he wrote a lot of things from his perspective as when he was a young man.
And from
Uh,
Maine, and all of them took place
from
in
Maine,
Maine.
and like a lot of his stuff was written from his own perspective. He has a bad habit of self-inserting himself in
Well,
stories.
look at him. Look at Stephen King now in his 70s. Does that look like a guy who did not get his ass kicked in high school?
Oh God, we know he did.
That guy looks like a guy who would get beat up today if it weren't for the fact that he's Stephen King. So yeah, I
Yeah,
can clearly see.
honestly, in '97, we almost lost him. He almost died. He got hit by that car, and
Yeah,
that almost ended him. They actually produced a newspaper that said he had passed away. So there was a
yeah.
lot of stories that night that he got hit. Fourth says, if Top Gun can succeed with people hating the military-industrial complex, you can do an '80s cop movie today. You just ignore the pussies. He has a
Um,
point, and I'm gonna
he
say,
does.
and I'm gonna say why. We did not think that the humor of History of the World Part One would work, and Mel Brooks just put out History of the World Part Two, and it's doing rather well.
Okay, we can still do cop movies. We could still take those IPs, but I think we have to make an adjustment for a completely different world. And I think a lot of the things that made those movies special in the '80s, it's just not. It's just not in the atmosphere these days. Let me highlight something real quick because I think we might have missed this one. Those content creators, those insiders drive numbers. They'll continue to stream about the supposed toxic fandom to get the views, and I think that's unfortunate. And listen, I know some people who do this. I'm on good terms with some people who do
We
this.
know some people who do this.
Yeah, and I've said directly to those people that I think this is unfortunate. I think that you poke the bear, and then when the bear wakes up and tears your head off, the bear is the bad guy. So yeah, there we go. Seen any good movies lately? Shazam, Fury of the Gods.
Was that
I
actually
thought
really good? Was it
I
good?
thought it was really good. I liked it. I borderline loved it, and that's it. Just pisses me off.
Because to be honest, I've not watched Shazam. I have not watched Shazam yet, so I don't.
Dude, the first Shazam I really loved. There are scenes in the original Shazam that I just, you know, you start out the movie, and this is a perfect evolution of a character. You want to slap the hell out of Billy Batson's character because he's an asshole. He's an asshole. He's in and out of the foster system. He's treating his foster families who's trying to give him a good home like crap. He's treating his surrounding family that becomes a Marvel family later on like crap because he just doesn't seem like he's part of that family. He doesn't care, and his whole goal is to try to find his mother that abandoned him. He finally meets his mother, and he realized what a piece of true garbage she was. She abandoned him. And then when he finally meets her, she doesn't even want him. She's like, "You need to get out of here. I got a new life, got a new or a new boyfriend, whatever is in there." And she slams the door on him. And there's a point in that movie, and it's the point that you guys see in the trailers where he's jumping off the building and he turns into Shazam in midair. That's him leaving his mother's house, and that was such a metaphorical scene. He's leaving that family that means nothing to him. That means nothing to him. That has left him, and going forward to embrace the family that does mean something to him. That was a kick-ass moment for me. That's one of my favorite sequences in a superhero movie because it was a scene that just basically it tells you the turning point of his character. You wanted to kill this guy, and now you're rooting for him, all within an hour and 45-minute movie. And so he goes immediately from that situation to go save his adopted family, the ones that actually care about him, and that lets you get to Shazam family. And then when they all turned into Shazam, and all their, they turned into the best versions of themselves. I loved Shazam. I will say to this day, though, it should have never been made. Not without a plan for Superman, not without a plan for Batman, not without a support network of momentum so that it could be risen along with these other movies. And it's a damn shame that this movie is really good. And I'm not just saying that because I gave a whole bunch of tickets away for it and I gave a bunch of t-shirts away. I've given t-shirts away from really crappy movies, and I've said outright, this movie sucked. All right? So Shazam! Fury of the Gods, it's a damn shame that more people aren't going to go see that movie. And it's all because of mismanagement. 100%. And stop with the Rock shit, all right? Blaming The Rock for Shazam! Fury of the Gods trailers is absolutely moronic, in my opinion. All right, this failure took years to build. This was years of Hamada. This was years of Emmerich. This was years of Tishihara. This was years of Sanoff. And it all built up, and it was too much weight for that little movie to carry. So no, that's the last good movie I saw, but I'm going to go see Renfield on the 11th, so that'll be the next one.
Dude, that movie looks amazing. Renfield?
Yeah, we're going to be giving away stuff for that one, too.
Okay, question about Superman Legacy. Does that comic book that it's based off of work as a trilogy of Superman movies, or is that more of a single shot movie?
No,
he's talking about All-Star Superman.
All-Star Superman, it works as whatever length you could use it for. Yeah. Especially if you just adopt the pure tone of it. So yeah, it could work that way, no problem.
Yeah, there's different parts to that story. I just recently read that, by the way, William. All-Star.
Yeah, it's really good. Hold on, because they advertise the Blu-ray set as a trilogy too. That's no problem, because currently it is a trilogy. So there's none of this. Well, he's closing the door on it. That's nonsense. That's all there is now. That's all there is. Just like Star Trek, when they were releasing Star Trek 3 on the triple VHS back in 1984 and 1985, that's all there was Star Trek the Motion Picture, Wrath the Khan, and Search for Spock. But that 2 years later, 1986, they made Star Trek The Voyage Home. It was no longer a trilogy. So that's just you release what you have. That's just a marketing thing. That's not a big issue. All right, go ahead. Next one. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around because I'm seeing some of the older ones.
What's your thoughts on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once a Ranger 30th Anniversary Special movie that's coming out? Do you think it'll be a hit or a flop? With Power Ranger fans, it's going to be a hit. I can assure you. With the baseline people, probably not.
They made a little bit of money off that one Power Rangers movie that they released right at the same week of Bumblebee, and they were able to make a little bit of profit off of that. I mean, it depends on how it's done. Hold on. So, go ahead. Next one.
Okay, based on their directing style or writing, as an author, who do you feel is more important, Stephen King or Quentin Tarantino? They do different things. Stephen King, really good novelist. Tarantino, really good writer for movies.
That's a tough one, dude. I can't make that comparison, Anthony. They're too dramatically different too. It's not like they're similar or different. They're like two different sides of the spectrum. So I need them both. Next one.
Reyes says hello.
Hi, Rhea's coming to my Tromania. Woohoo! She's gonna come down to Vegas on May 12th and 13th to meet Lloyd Kaufman. Cool. All right, I see an Apple question down there from Jacob McKenzie.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to find.
I'll bring it up real quick.
Yeah, you grab it since you see it.
All right, William. Thought on Apple will spend $1 billion on producing films in theaters. That's cool. I mean, they can go ahead and do that. I mean, that's not going to hurt them. People made the comparison to why did Netflix not do this because that's not their model. See, I don't know if it's. I mean, I know people say, well, you add more prestige to your movie by putting it in the theaters, and on the one hand, that's true. But on the other hand, Netflix, your draw is what you put on your streaming service. If I give you some other place to go see it, what makes my streaming service special? Other streaming services, yeah, because they're attached to studios, but Netflix isn't. So I'm in the middle. All right, next one.
What's the crappiest movie you've had to give away stuff for?
Wow, I might get in trouble answering this one. Oh, I gotta think. The crappiest movie I've given stuff away from. Wow, dude, that's a tough one because wow, I have to go back. I mean, because I mean, we've done like hundreds of movies, and some of them have been outright dreadful. Go to another question real quick. I'm gonna look up something, and I can tell you this real quick.
Less questions, more like people chatting with each other.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Let's go to past events. Events.
Apparently, 4th is going to be in Vegas when you're doing Tromania weekend.
Are you coming to Tromania? Because tickets are going pretty fast, and I have a tiny event or a tiny event space, and we're getting people from all over. And now more people can come because we changed the date to deeper, closer to summer. Man, it's really tough to find out. Wow, we've done a lot. Holy shit. Hold on. Let me pull up my Instagram because it'll be quicker than trying to pull up the list. Because I know there's some out there, and I know that I probably shouldn't be bad mouthing movies, but some of these movies suck.
Stella says, "Don't answer that one, William."
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, because you know what? Like I said, some of those guys are fans of the show, and you know what? You know your movie sucks at some point. I mean, oh, what did I give T-shirts away from? Because most of the ones we've been giving movies away from have been excellent. I mean, we got Avatar. Are we done? I mean, we've been working. I mean, Black Adam was considered a failure by people, but I enjoyed Black Adam, and I gave tons of stuff away from that. Ha! Halloween ends. Halloween's in Blue Chunks. All right, there you go. Didn't even have to go back that far. Halloween ends sucked. Halloween's end sucked. All right, there you go. I didn't think I was going to be able to answer that question, but I was able to. And
okay,
I don't think
after Rise of the Beast comes out for Transformers, where do you think that franchise goes next? And are you excited for the Fast and Furious 10? Okay, so as for Rise of the Beast, they're probably going to do War for Cybertron, which is going to be a prequel to the traditional Transformers stuff that's already planning in the works. As for, am I excited for Fast and the Furious 10? This is going to sound really bad to most people, but no. I think this series is played out. But that's my personal opinion.
Once you go to outer space with a that type of vehicle, with duct tape, you lost me. You lost me. I don't need to see Wally Coyote action in my. It was fun as long as it was believable, but it's become too unbelievable now. So no.
Fourth wants to know how much are tickets for Tromania.
$30, and that includes both nights, and that includes free autograph session with Lloyd Kaufman.
Rhea also asked how to get tickets for Tromania.
Hold on, I'm gonna make this real easy for you guys. And there we go. I'm going to put it in the chat room. And there we go. There's that, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the direct ticket link in there. And let's see. And there's the ticket link. So you can click right on that link and get tickets. Okay, next one.
All right. Daniel Martin says, I love Machete Kills in retrospect, but that's the only movie I've ever seen that offered BOGO tickets on opening weekend. I was the only one in the theater. Lol.
And Machete Kills is actually, I love the Machete Kills. Because I love that type of movie. I enjoy Machete Kills, so, you know.
Reyes says, Halloween Ends is cinema. Take that back.
Halloween Twins is bullshit. That movie really, listen, Halloween Kills was offensively bad. Halloween Ends was slightly just completely worse, but they were both awful. Halloween Kills, and what made them so offensively bad is how great their predecessor, the preceding movie, was. The 2018 version of Halloween was awesome. All right, and you follow that up with that. All right, now I'm not gonna say Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills combined, you know, were as bad as Howard the fucking Duck, but it's down there. It's not an immediate toss-up, all right? Both movies are horrible in their own way. I had no reason to be disappointed. I had no real expectations as a 12-year-old watching Howard the Duck to be that offensive. And it's just gotten worse as the years have gone by. I had a reason to actually think that the last two parts of that trilogy were going to be any good. And I was let down in the most offensive way. Yeah, that is not cinema. I'm sorry. It played in the cinema. It did belong there.
Stella says, what do you have of freebies left would probably be the safest way of saying which movie was the worst.
Well, no, because that doesn't always mean people like free shit no matter what, you know. And sometimes I have a lot of stuff left over from things because they send so much, and you only have a certain amount of time to give all this stuff out before the movie. You know what I mean? So, and then I'm doing another promotion. Like last week, I did John Wick and I did Shazam back to back. So you have to like push one promotion out to get the other one in. And a lot of times that ends up with you, meaning you get like a lot of stuff over because you can't overlap promotions sometimes. Like I can't hook up and do a promotion with John Wick piggybacking on Shazam because it's two different movie studios and they'll get pissed off. So a lot of times I end up, and then some really good movies, you know, like for John Wick, I got like 4 t-shirts or something like that, you know. So it all depends on what they send me and how big the screening is. But no, I got tons of stuff. All the stuff went out for Halloween Ends because it was cool stuff. It's just the movie was horrible.
Anthony Manzano says, did you guys ever have a Fiero growing up?
No, I wanted to live.
My dad actually had a Fiero.
Deadly ass cars, dude. Those cars are dangerous as fuck, man. Those cars are dangerous because remember they were built basically if a can hit them on the wrong angle, those things are not built to survive. Not as bad as a Pinto, but you know, hey.
Reyes says, I thought the fest was for 2 days. It only says the 12th.
That's the day it starts. If you look at the ticket, when you click on it, it says 2-night pass. And if you look at the flyer that's on there, it says May 12th and May 13th.
Reyes says, William, you have the wildest takes, but this is your worst yet. The Halloween trilogy revived the franchise.
What? Revived it? What? No, it did not revive it. No.
She says just joking. by the
Okay,
way.
yeah, I knew she was trolling me. Yeah, it had to be.
She goes, I
But
do love it though.
I love the first one. I thought the first one was great. The second two were bad. So yeah, if you click on the ticket link, Rhea, there's it has 2 dates on there. It
Stella says,
starts it starts on the Friday the 12th. That's because that's the way the ticket links go. Go ahead.
Stella says, not as bad as the Ford Pinto though. Talking about the Fiero.
No,
being
the
a
Fort
bad
Pillow
vehicle.
was the death trap. That was historically deadly. You got rear-ended in that, you were done.
My first car was a Dodge Duster. What was your first car?
It was a Dodge Daytona.
Dodge Daytona.
Yep.
So we both had Dodges. That's cool.
Cheap. All right, next.
Fourth says, for me, there's only the zombie Halloweens and then Halloween Ends. No joke.
I did not like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I thought they were good horror movies. I just never. And here's a problem. And once again, who was that who played Dr. Loomis? Was it Roddy McDowell?
Yeah.
All right, he's a great actor. He is a top tier actor.
No, it was Malcolm McDowell. Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell. I'm sorry, Malcolm McDowell. One of the McDowell brothers. One of them passed away recently. All right, but you cannot replace Donald Pleasance and the energy he brought to that movie. He was the other half of the energy in all of the original Halloween movies, and it just wasn't happening with McDowell. Sorry. And I think that Rob Zombie is a very talented creator. I just like him better on his own stuff.
Well, if he had done his okay, so I like the zombie movies too, but if he had done them as just another killer and not being Michael Myers, I think they would have worked great. I think it would have been great, awesome movies.
Which was the same thing that the last two of the trilogy defaced.
Okay, so Daniel Martin said Fieros are the bomb. I had one. The mid-engine setup is crazy, like driving a go-kart. We used to call them Infernos because they would catch on fire. My back breaks.
That's the problem. You're right about the bomb. You were very accurate about the Fieros are the bomb, literally. And you ain't taking one in outer space either. That was ridiculous. Next one.
The Spy Kids movies came out when I was in 5th grade and 7th grade year of middle school, so I'm wondering, what do you think ever happened with plans to reboot of that series? It died on the vine, unfortunately. The first movie of that, see, I was not a kid when those movies came out. My kids were kids when those movies came out, so I've only seen them on the context of my kids. So
I was a grown man, so. All right, next one.
Another comment. But you enjoyed the movie. At least Zombie was told to make it his movie, and that's true. He was told to make those Halloween movies his own. So
mistake number 1, 2, and 3. All right, go.
Oh. Reyes says it's all about the '76 Pinto hatchback. Am I right?
Yeah. The steel aluminum coffin, what we call that bad boy.
Dude, that's like flying a TIE fighter. Like literally, like those things are horrible.
And you notice a TIE fighter didn't have any way out. Well, if you got shot down, you were expected to die for the Empire.
Yeah.
Unless you're Moff Gideon and you land perfectly.
Right. How the hell did that happen?
Because they needed the character for more.
The Michael Myers, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Donald Pleasance dynamic was something special that can't be replicated. So
100% agree, Daniel.
100% sure. 100%. All right, we're caught up.
All right, guys. That's gonna be it. I'm gonna wrap this up tonight. Basically, we'll put out the news of the day. Once again, for those of you who were not here at the beginning of the screen, Enosh has stepped away. The length of time, I do not know. He's taking care of his family, which I can completely respect. We read the post that he put in the community page, on his Twitter page, and on his Facebook page. All I know is from his words, it's going to be a while before he streams again, other than his church streams. So I can't answer whether he'll ever be back. All I can do now is try to fill that void with conversations and things that we have fun with. You'll see I'm going to make the adjustments to my content to fit the needs of this network for as long as it deems necessary, whether it's a couple months, whether it's a couple years, or whether it's forever. There will be content on the geek content on the Poindexter Lounge as long as I'm around and I can continue to do it. Like I said, I think this platform is important. I think this channel is important, and I have no problem with taking up the mantle until if and when Enosh returns. So
We will keep the home fires still burning.
so we'll get started this week. We'll start making some changes and start it to my content and getting it on here so that, like I said, I'm not necessarily a panel guy, but I understand that you guys are used to panels. I can do a panel show. It's going to be different. Not going to be a lot of drops and stuff like that. There will be some drops, but not a lot. But I'm a different person. I mean, I'm just a different person, and I handle conversations differently than the next guy will. So hope you guys enjoy what we have in store for you. And on that, I'm going to call it a evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow at least one time for our Star Trek. Yeah, and it's on the community page. You guys can go read Enosh's full statement there. I basically read it verbatim here. So, like I said, he's given me permission to carry on, and that's exactly what I'm going to do the best way I know how. And give me some time to make that adjustment, and I hope it's something that you guys are all in for. So until tomorrow at 8 o'clock for our Star Trek Weekly Show, for Thade and Stella, who's not here today, but she's in the chat, and for Enosh and for everybody associated with Poindexter Now, we will see you tomorrow.